Hi everyone, I'm Marcy, and if you've ever wanted to elevate your cooking game, I mean really elevate it, then you've come to the right place, because today I'm in Albuquerque learning from one of New Mexico's top chefs, and wait till you see what he's cooking up. First, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps others find me, and let's get inspired together. So I'm here at Hollow Spirits Distillery alongside executive chef Tristin Rogers, and I gotta tell you, I'm a little intimidated because this guy is big time. In fact, in 2020, he was named New Mexico Chef of the Year. So that's super, super impressive. Tell me a little bit about your cooking style.
I don't know, I like to think outside the box. I generally like to cook what I like to eat. I don't know, my style's a little bit different from other chefs. I'm all about eat with your eyes first.
Right.
And then creating different flavor profiles, colors, textures. So those are the kind of things that I think about while we're coming up with a dish.
I love that. Now tell us, what are you going to be showing us how to make today? And first of all, he says that this is something that we all can make at home.
Absolutely. Everybody's intimidated by salmon. So I kind of want to give you guys just like kind of a brief look on how to cook something very fresh, very light, very delicious, and something that's, intimidating, but
Right.
I promise you this dish is very easy to make, simple ingredients, great flavors, and yeah.
All right, well, I trust you. Go ahead and show me.
All right. So one thing about salmon is, like I said, everybody's really intimidated by it, but really honestly, if you just let it cook and do its thing, it's super simple to make. So what we're gonna start off by doing is we're gonna take our filet here, we're gonna score it. You wanna cut about a couple of inches deep on the skin. What that's gonna do, it's gonna help the skin get really crispy, but it's gonna stop the salmon from folding, so it cooks nice and evenly. So you got these nice little scores in here. We're gonna take some salt and pepper, try to get it into those little scores. This is also what's gonna help it kind of crisp up a little bit. But there's one thing that people always make a mistake of when they're cooking fish or steak. Always start off with the scorching hot pan. Just before you see it start to smoke, that's when you add your salmon. That's the sound you want to hear. The salmon will tell you when it's ready to be flipped. See how the color on the bottom already started
Yeah, it's starting to go up.
starting to go up. So once it gets to the middle there, that's when we want to flip it. So now in the meantime, you can start getting all your other ingredients ready. The ingredients that we have here are going to complement the fish because salmon is super fatty and it's very oily. So basically these ingredients are going to cut through that a little bit because they're sweet. So here we got a butternut squash puree, which we honey roast it, and then we puree it. We got sun-dried tomatoes. Sun-dried tomatoes also will cut through the sweetness. To give it a little bit of creaminess, we have some goat cheese. We have our fingerling potatoes, which we're gonna add parmesan and bacon dust to. And then we have sauteed spinach, which is gonna kind of give it that earthy flavor to every bite. And then we'll finish it with the little balsamic reduction, which is also gonna give it a nice kind of, sweet taste to it. What we're gonna do is always flip away from you as well, okay? So now, what are we left with? Nice, crispy skin, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add another level to this dish. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of our garlic here, give it a nice little smash. Basically what that does is it releases the allicin that's in there, which gives it a little bit more bump and releases more of its aromatics a little bit better.
And you just put it in the oil.
Put it right in the oil. We're gonna do the same thing with our garlic and thyme. We're gonna take a whole lot of butter because the French said that's okay. French's favorite ingredient is butter, and more butter. You don't have to do this part. I do this part because one, it adds something to the salmon. All these aromatics like your rosemary, your thyme, your garlic, the butter gets into that salmon. Really, really brings out a good flavor. Definitely.
I love it already. It smells so good.
Smell that? So see how all these caramelizations are going with the butter? It just adds something.
It's funny because I tell my husband whenever we go out to eat, order the seafood because that's the only place you're going to get it. I'm always intimidated about cooking seafood.
And it's super simple. It's really not, we've been messing with this salmon for maybe 3 minutes. So while that sits in the butter and kind of comes up to temperature, we're going to do the rest of all of our other ingredients. So here we got our butternut squash puree. You don't have to be an executive chef or a chef of the year to create one of these amazing meals. All it takes is preparation.
And good ingredients
Good
too,
ingredients.
because the fresh herbs will make a huge
Absolutely,
difference too.
absolutely. It's all about what you put together, and how you bring everything together. Next, we're gonna go with our potatoes because we want those to kind of start cooking a little bit. The salt, pepper, everything, right? Because flavor is what we're going for. So this is about done. Nice and smooth. That's what we want right there. Nice and smooth. We're gonna set that off to the side. Our salmon's still coming up to temperature, almost there. Slide our potatoes over. Great thing about spinach is you can put a whole bag in there and only get like 3 or 4 leaves. Again, super simple, nothing special. We're just sauteing these all together until they come down, shrink.
That is so funny. He says nothing special, and then he does that whole flipping thing with the flames coming out. And most of us can't do that.
It's all right. It's all right. It's learning. It's all in the wrist.
It's all in the
It's
wrist.
all in the wrist. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our salmon off. We're gonna let it rest for a little while. Nice. All right, our spinach is done. We're gonna go ahead and turn off the flame. Now we're gonna do for the spinach and potatoes. What we have here is bacon dust. Get a little coloring on that one. We're gonna take some Parmesan Reggiano, real Parmesan. Don't go cheap and buy the cheap stuff. Great ingredients. One more little flip. This is ready to go. So now we can start plating. This is my favorite part because one, you bring the plate to life. You get to be a little creative in how you do things. You get to really showcase kind of your talent.
But this is like artistry because you're almost like painting a picture on a plate.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you kind of think of it that way. Kind of like, I wouldn't call it avant-garde. Some of the other chefs out there do, but it's definitely, something that we take pride in here at Hollow Spirits. Some sun-dried tomatoes, our goat cheese to make everything nice and creamy at the end of each bite. We're gonna add our salmon. And then, for the last part, put our balsamic, just because we like to be fancy. Got our wonderfully colored violet edible flowers. They're just elevated just a little bit extra. And this is your final dish.
Well, this is ridiculously beautiful. It is definitely a feast for all the senses because you look at it, like you said, you eat with your eyes first, and this is just beautiful. It also smells wonderful. You've got so many different things going on.
Absolutely.
I can hardly wait to try this, shall we?
Dig in.
Okay. Ooh, nice. I like that little crispiness, yes. And I want to get some of the butternut, yes. Whoops.
Some of that balsamic on there.
And I want a little bit of the potato as well. Wow, this is so good. You make me talk with my mouth full. But it is so good. And like I told you, I'm not a real big seafood eater. But I could eat this again and again.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for showing us how to do this and giving us some pointers from a real pro, making this accessible to all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, don't be intimidated by it. It's just salmon. It's just fish. Don't be afraid to experiment, play with things, learn your own way. So
It's just salmon, but definitely elevated.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And here at Hollow Spirits, we are a distillery, so we make all of our own spirits here. But when you come down here to try this dish, make sure you try it with what I like to call it the agave loco. It's absolutely amazing.
That is so beautiful.
This is something that you definitely want to try when you come down here and pair with that dish. Do you want to give it a try?
Sure. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're ever in Albuquerque, you've got to check them out. It's Hollow Spirits Distillery, and I'll put all their contact information in the description box below, as well as information on Chef Tristin Rogers. So thanks again.
Absolutely.
Hope you all enjoyed watching this.
Thanks so much for checking out this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow me at Marcy Inspired on Instagram and Facebook. Until next time, blessings from my home state to yours.